I have in my hands here a set of irons that I've built in a slightly different way. I've got the PXG 0211 ST irons, which is a bit more of a pure blade with a tiny little bit of offset. So the shaft here just sticks out a little bit more than I'd normally find in this caliber of club, but it is still nice and clean looking. But I've burnt them so they go like a bluish finish. They've got a Project X LZ 6.525 gram shaft in them. And the swing weight is progressive. Now, normally in a set of golf clubs, you'll have something like a D2 swing weight in the woods. And in the irons, you have something more like D3 in all of the irons. And then we go to the wedges and you'll have something like D4 or D5 as a standard procedure. So we get slightly lighter in the woods, and then we get sort of medium weight in the irons, and then we get slightly heavier feel-wise in the wedges. And when I built these golf clubs, I just noticed something where I glued them together and the natural, oh, lovely. The natural swing weights of the set, I only had to change a couple of half swing weights to get them to do this, but I've got a progressive swing weight, so they get slightly lighter every time you go up a club. So I've got D5.5, D5, D4.5, D4, D3.5, 3 and 3. Now normally what happens in a set of irons is you have a lighter swing weight, so there's less mass in the head and it feels lighter down this end. It tends to be easier to release the club because there's not as much weight to have to be shifted, to be released. So using the swing weight can help you with in terms of direction in custom fitting or custom building. And quite often there's a problem that I find in a lot of people's golf bags where you get to the long irons and the ball tends to squeeze out to the right with those long irons because they're just harder to hit. There's less loft on them and we just can't quite shut the face down as much. So when I do progressive swing weight and I get lighter up to the top, it just gets a little bit easier each time we go up each club. And I don't know why this isn't done more often because it does make a lot of sense. But it is a bit of a strange one because the head weights kind of like adjust as the shafts get longer so they can standardize them. The idea behind swing weight being at a certain number is so if they build a set of clubs in Canada or they build a set of clubs in the UK, you want to be able to order the same feeling clubs in both countries across the world. So when they standardize the swing weight and make them all the same, there's just a bit more consistency across the board. But it could be a good idea and a good concept to play around with the swing weights. And I think it's an industry-wide thing rather than an individual thing. But if there's any manufacturers watching this video, is it something you would entertain? Because I think it could be quite useful. But let's go gap wedge. In a straight line, just a little bit right. Nice and tidy, a bit longer than I expected. Pitching wedge. 9 iron. Straight at it. 8 iron. Straight at it, not fighting the weight. 7 iron, fairly neutral. 6 iron. Straight at it again. Again, just getting a little bit easier each shot. And then 5 iron. Yeah, like it's just easier without messing around with the direction too much. This could be a concept that manufacturers could bring in potentially, I don't know. But what do you think about the idea? Do you think it's silly to do that, or do you think it could have some legs? It is difficult to build clubs to this degree. Generally speaking, it's easier to make the swing weight heavier than it is to make the swing weight lighter. But do you think it's a good idea or not?